Hi, welcome to Opening the Curtain, a partnership between the TheatreWorks of Silicon Valley, Palo Alto Unified School District, and the Kennedy Center. My name is Mishaal Hussain. I am a junior at Gunn High School, and today I will be interviewing Melissa Sanchez, a local costume designer in the Bay Area. Hello.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
very nice to meet you.
So I have a few questions lined up for you today. The first of which is, what is your job, and how did you get to where you are now?
Okay, so I'm a costume designer local to the Bay Area.
So, what is the job of a costume designer?
So, what I like to think of when I think of a costume designer is basically storytelling through clothing. It's something that can really define a character, can really show the different depths of a character by showing what they wear outside. A lot of the times, I feel we as humans like to express who we are with our clothing. So you can really tell a lot about a person by the way they dress, by the things they put on on their bodies. And I feel like as a costume designer, that's something that is really important when you're presenting a stage production. I feel like sometimes the words are not enough to really portray everything about a character. So adding little touches to a costume really can center an actor and can really bring a character to life, makes it really three dimensional. So I like to think of it as painting a picture with clothing. So I'm really into color story with my design choices. I feel like it needs to look like a very cohesive and really beautiful painting almost on stage. And I like to create that with a lot of depth, with textures, with prints, and obviously talking to actors to make sure that I'm respecting some of their actor choices with some of the things that I might add to a character with their costume. And how did I get my start? Basically, I started out as an acting student at San Francisco State, and basically, I kind of gave that up mid semester after I realized that I just didn't feel like I had the acting chops to really pull it off. But I still really loved theater, and so basically, I had to take a lot of technical classes anyway as part of my degree. And so, as I took more and more technical classes, I realized that I really enjoyed the backstage aspect of theater. And so, I also love clothing, and I used to work at a retail shop for a few years. And so, I was really drawn to that part of the industry. And so, I kind of emphasized that towards like the middle of my second semester, and I just focused on costume design. And I really loved the aspect of storytelling. I loved working with clothing, and I loved working with actors still, but just not being in front of the stage. And yeah, then I once I graduated, I started out just volunteering at some theaters, and then kind of got my foot in the door when a designer dropped out. And luckily enough, I was able to do the job, and they were happy with the product and basically asked me to come back. And I just got referrals after that. And that's how I got my start.
Oh, that's super cool. Um, why do you love what you do now?
I love what I do because of the community and collaborative aspect of design. I feel like costuming is just one small part of the whole design process. And I feel you get to work with a lot of different, really artistically inclined people with a lot of different ideas, some different than mine, and coming up with a cohesive concept and making sure that we're all getting heard in the collaborative process is just really a fun and exciting, invigorating thing for me when I design because I come up with ideas, but I also like hearing somebody else's ideas and seeing how we can incorporate each other's ideas to work really well together. And the other part of it is getting the audience to react and seeing their reaction to the actual production. So a lot of the times, when you're designing, you're so stuck and focused on, doing your job that you kind of forget all the pieces coming together until you're actually like in tech. And then you're like, oh, I'm seeing everything kind of work together beautifully. And then once you add the audience to it, you just really see the work come to life. And that's a really fun part of
That sounds amazing.
it.
Um, So in costuming, how do you see the future of costuming?
So because of COVID, costuming has definitely changed. I was lucky enough to do two productions just recently, both on Zoom, or actually one on Zoom. They did a live Zoom performance every night, and two of them were actually filmed with 6 feet distance, with gloves, with shields and masks, and recorded that and made it into almost like a mini movie. So I think designing is going to be a little bit different in the next few years, maybe hopefully less than a year, but who knows? And I think I think it's going to be more about storytelling, less about the production value. So what I'm noticing is more stories that are more contemporary, so that obviously costuming is going to be a little easier. Sometimes actors might provide their own things, so that will hopefully limit the amount of time that you're in front of an actor, so that you don't have to obviously invade their space too much. And I think it's just going to be a little more creative for the next year or so. I think people are going to find new ways to do stories that are relevant, and it's going to be less of a really huge, very big budget productions. I think it's going to be a little bit minimalistic, but I think the stories are definitely going to take center stage.
Okay. One last question. So when you are costuming, as is your job, where do you like to start? I know a lot of people start in very different places. So what's your personal process like?
So first thing I always do is read the script. I think that's always a good thing to do when you're a designer, because once you have the first meeting with the whole production staff, you really want to have a concrete idea of what the show is and what the show needs. So for costuming, you need to know the era. You need to know how many characters, how many people are playing multiple characters. You need to know what season it is, and if there's special requests with costuming already in the script. And you also have to just get a really strong idea of where your vision might start, but obviously don't get tied into the vision too much, because it might change depending on what the director wants, what the lighting designer wants, what the scenic designer wants. So for me, I always try to prepare as much as I can before I go into a production meeting by reading the script, having all my notes ready so that I'm able to eliminate a lot of things that might not be necessary, depending on the feedback I get. And so yeah, I think the script is definitely the first step to really making sure that you're prepared for when you actually talk to the director.
All right. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was really fun.
Thank you for tuning in to Opening the Curtain, Artists in Conversation with Students, a collaboration between TheatreWorks Silicon Valley and Palo Alto Unified School District as part of the Kennedy Center Partners in Education program. We will continue to explore different careers available in the performing arts throughout the school year. Please join us for the next set of videos in the series at the end of each month at theatreworks.org.